So you know Santa Claus, right? The jolly guy in the red suit, white beard, rosy cheeks, drinks Coca-Cola in literally every Christmas commercial. Wait, that's not part of the Santa mythology? That's just advertising, except the Santa, you know, was basically designed by Coca-Cola. For hundreds of years, Santa wore green, brown, or blue. He was tall, short, scary, friendly, a total mess of different traditions mashed together. Then in 1931, Coca-Cola needed to sell soda in winter. So they hired an illustrator, gave him one job, make Santa red, and rewrote cultural history. It's the 1800s, America, Europe, and if you ask 10 people what Santa looks like, you'll get 10 different answers. Some say he's tall and thin, like a bishop, because Santa's based on St. Nicholas, a 4th century Christian bishop from Turkey. By the 1800s, St. Nicholas has been blended with other folklore. In some places, he's merged with Norse mythology. In others, he's a scary elf. In 1823, Clement Clark Moore writes, "The Night Before Christmas." Moore describes Santa as a jolly old elf, small, elfin, not grandfatherly. Then illustrators start drawing him. Thomas Nast draws Santa in the 1860s through 1880s, sometimes red, sometimes brown or tan, visually all over the place. By the early 1900s, Santa's a cultural figure, but there's no standard design. He's wearing green in some illustrations, brown in others. Some Santas are skinny, some are fat, some look friendly, some look creepy. There's no official Santa Claus. And then Coca-Cola has a problem. It's 1931, Atlanta, Georgia, Coca-Cola headquarters, and the executives have a serious issue. Nobody's buying Coke in the winter. This makes sense, right? Coke is a cold beverage. When it's 95 degrees outside, ice-cold Coke sounds amazing. When it's snowing, not so much. Coca-Cola's sales drop dramatically every winter. They can't accept that 25% of the year is garbage for sales, so they need a solution. They've tried advertising cold Coke as refreshing. Doesn't work. People think that looks cold and buy tea instead. They need to change how people feel. The marketing team comes up with a strategy. Associate Coca-Cola with Christmas, something that makes a cold drink feel emotionally warm. They hire Hodden Sundblom. He's an illustrator. Coca-Cola gives him a specific brief. Create a Santa for our ads. Make him friendly, grandfatherly, and most importantly, paint him in Coca-Cola red, the specific, bright, unmistakable Coca-Cola red. Make Santa match the brand colors. Sundblom gets to work. He doesn't just draw a picture, he creates a character. He makes Santa big, a large, substantial man, grandfatherly. He gives him rosy cheeks, sign of health and warmth, bright, twinkling eyes that look kind, a big, genuine smile, not a creepy one, and the outfit. Bright red suit with white fur trim, red hat, black belt, black boots. The red is vivid, eye-catching, unmistakably Coca-Cola red. Sundblom paints Santa in normal situations. Santa in someone's living room, taking a break, drinking a Coke. The message is clear. Santa is real, he's friendly, and he drinks Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola prints millions of them. They flood magazines with full-page ads. They put them in stores, posters, calendars, promotional materials. Every winter, Sundblom creates new Santa paintings. Coca-Cola plasters them everywhere, and it works. It works so well that it changes culture. The red suit, the specific proportions, the rosy cheeks, all of it becomes standard. Other companies start copying Sundblom's design, not because they're contractually obligated to, but because this version of Santa is what people now expect. Draw Santa in green? People think you got it wrong. Coca-Cola didn't just create a mascot, they created a standard, and that standard spread globally. Now here's where it gets complicated. Coca-Cola didn't invent every element. The red suit existed before, but Coca-Cola standardized it. Before Coke, Santa could be lots of things. After Coke, Santa is one specific thing. The chaos got replaced by consistency. Historians argue about how much credit Coca-Cola deserves. Some say Santa was already evolving. Others say Coke created the modern image. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle. But what's undeniable is that Coca-Cola's campaign was so successful, their version became the version. They didn't just participate in Christmas culture, they shaped it. And most people don't know this. If you ask someone, did Coca-Cola design Santa? Most people will say, no, that's a myth. The campaign was so successful it feels like natural history. That's the ultimate achievement of advertising, when the ad becomes indistinguishable from reality. Coca-Cola kept using him. Sundblom painted Santa illustrations for over 30 years, from 1931 until the 1960s. Every year, new paintings. The campaign becomes one of the most successful in advertising history. Coca-Cola wasn't just selling a product, they were selling tradition itself. Other companies tried to copy the formula. They tried to associate their brands with Christmas. Some succeeded, most didn't. Coca-Cola didn't need to own Santa. They just needed everyone to associate Santa with their brand. Mission accomplished. You see Santa, you think Christmas, you think family, you think tradition, and somewhere in your brain you think red Coca-Cola branding. Historians who study Christmas traditions will tell you this is actually kind of disturbing. We're celebrating what we think is an ancient tradition. But the specific image we're celebrating is a marketing construct designed to sell sugar water in winter. St. Nicholas was a real person who helped the poor. That's history. The modern Santa drinking Coke, that's advertising that became mythology. And the really unsettling part is that it worked so well that trying to go back is impossible. You can't undo the Coca-Cola Santa. He's in movies, TV shows, decorations, cards, books. He's the Santa the children grow up with. The Santa passed down through generations. Coca-Cola inserted their brand into a major cultural tradition so seamlessly that people forget it's a brand at all. So that's how Coca-Cola created the modern Santa Claus. They needed to sell soda in winter. They hired an illustrator. They standardized a chaotic cultural figure.